Hey there, Boots Owen here. I picked up this Delonghi Super Sayer is what I'd call them, gas heater in a skip recently, and it came with a bottle of gas, not this bottle. I've just got this little one in the shed because it's easier to carry. There's the switch, you turn it here to spark it, and then you've got three settings, 1, 2 and 3 gas things. What are they called? Heaters, maybe? 3 kilowatt I think it is, so 1, 2 and 3. The nameplate's falling off the bottom there. Let's take off the front cover, it might make it easier to see. So you just pull it into the center to get it off. If you're feeling strong, like that, and it's gone. Let's try and get that started. So I'm turning it to, pushing it down, turning it to the spark. There's the spark. There we got a flame. Now it's lit. You can see, yeah, there's a bit of blue coming off the center one. It's lit there, and I've got it on one unit, and periodically a bit of dust or something goes in, and you can see a little tiny bit of flame coming off it. And there's a bit of heat coming off it too. The issue is, and you can probably see this already, down here, there's two things going on. If you get a pointing screwdriver, this fellow here is the piezo ignition. That's what sparks it. So that sparks over here to some part of the mechanism when you push down on the igniter. This here is a thermocouple, and I presume it works because whenever I let off the knob on top, I'm keeping the knob on top depressed. Whenever I let it off, it immediately stops. So if you can see here, let's zoom in a bit. So if you can see here, that's the piezo, the spark, that's the thermocouple, and then there's this hole in the middle. That should have a little blue flame coming out of it, and the blue flame should keep this fellow here warm. And when this guy can tell that the flame is here, then it won't extinguish itself. But when there's no flame there, this thermocouple doesn't get hot enough and the flame turns itself off. So clearly we've got an issue with this, and I don't know anything about these things, but I'd like to see if I can get it going. I'm presuming that some orifice is blocked for the pilot flame. So I'll disconnect the gas and we'll have a look at it. So round the back, I've got it up on the bench, but that's neither here nor there to you. The gas comes in over here in the orange hose into this little selector unit. You've got a white box here with a black wire. That's your spark. And then you've got 3 gas pipes. I presume they go to the 3 different selections. And then this fellow coming back here, I think, is the thermocouple. So there's no pilot flame port up here, so it should just be blocked down below. We know that gas comes through the main line on 1, so whatever pipe it is here should be okay. Then looking at this cover here, it's riveted on from the front, so I can't really get in here without doing damage. I'll have to do that if I have to, so let's turn it round again and have a look. So underneath I can see 2 screws. See, 2 screws. I'm presuming the fascia will come off then, front cover. Oh, so it's all connected. That's it, we're in. Okay, so it's just resting on the 3 hoses. It's a bit dicey there. You can see where this metal and everything on it's sharp. All the edges are sharp. This piezo ignition and thermocouple are in a sheath, but that sheath is getting sheared by the metal here. I've just opened it by twisting the aluminium pipes, and I'm going to get a vacuum and clean all this out because it's a bit dusty, and you'll smell that. You smell this dust burning if it gets hot. And you can see here on the middle burner, there's a pipe coming from here over to the gas control flame, pilot flame over there. So I'll give it a hoover, and then what I think I might do is disconnect this fellow and put a shot of compressed air outwards and watch and see if anything pops out, because I suspect a crumb has gone down into it or something. I suspect that you can hear it, but there's a gardener working across the street, and they only seem to be capable of using petrol power tools. So they've got a leaf blower burning for the last hour or more. A leaf blower and a lawnmower and a hedge trimmer. Okay. Let's get the airline. Burner's a little clean as well, and so whenever I put the compressed air from the outside into this pipe, I didn't feel anything. So I'm gonna just try disconnecting it and seeing what I can see here. So you've got to remember that with gas, there's no user serviceable parts inside. You would never be able to fix this yourself, you know? Yeah, look. You can see it on my skin here. These machines are all put together in a way that I believe is never meant to come apart. You know, they're meant to just be used, scrapped, and that's that. So we should be able to get in here now. So this is your flame control device. So what it could be is, there's a twist in the cable here for the thermocouple. And there's a little hole in there, in the silver bit of the body. And I think that's meant to be for mixing the air with the gas that's coming in. There's probably a jet in that brass thing, I'm guessing. So if I bend this just to get it away, I wonder if this will work. I wonder if just that little piece of thermocouple was blocking it. Sometimes taking things apart, cleaning them and putting them back together again, all that's required. I think it was Tommy previously who asked about the possibility of increasing the jet size, and so the answer to that is your jets are here, 3 of them. You could change them around a bit. You could probably make them a lot bigger and run this off natural gas. If you had a piped supply of natural gas, you could put a little 3 kilowatt heater in as a modification. You know, all of these things in England would probably be considered not done. I don't know that they're illegal. We should probably do a gas pressure test on this, but you know, whatever. You know, and if you're the kind of person who's incompetent, well, you'll probably do this anyways, without even thinking about it. So me showing you what I'm doing isn't going to make you better or worse. You're just going to march on ahead and do what you're going to do. So good luck, but be safe. I think the disclaimer is that this isn't advice, this is just what I'm doing. Right, I'll march that front back on. Let's hook this back on. Twist it back in, hook it on up on top. So now there's gas on again. Spark still works. Flame still works, but I don't see a pilot flame. So I'm not there yet. I'm gonna have to take it apart, I reckon. Right, back up on the bench. This silver bit here is staked in place, so the only thing I can remove is the brass bit here. And it's well on. For a little spanner, it's too tight, so I need a bigger spanner. I'm also going to struggle to hold it, which is the issue because of this thermocouple. I don't think the thermocouple is gone because it's clearly working. I suspect you could get a new pilot jet as well. What's going on there? There we go, something's moved. Alright, so that orifice is clear through. So this thing is interesting. It's got some kind of a... Oh, it's a jet. It's a tiny jet. It's staked from each side. Could that be blocked? No, it's not blocked, because if you see down the bottom, there is a drop of light coming through. So that makes me think it is a tiny jet. Would it be worth cleaning it somehow with a bit of wire? But I don't think so, because you can see it if I shroud it properly. There's a tiny bit of light there, you see. I think that jet's okay, you know? That's a jet. Alright, I'll give this a shot of air. So it looks like we're not getting gas through this unit in the center here then. Cinch it up as tight as it was before, I guess. It's pretty darn tight. Alright, let's leave it down for now. So it looks like if I disconnect both hoses, both pipes, and we know that this one's clear because gas is coming to the center unit. Take out one screw, yeah, just one screw, it should fall out. That's that off, and this should walk down. It'll be stuck a bit because the screw bends the metal in. That's where it's wiggling about, it's about that point. There we go. So I can see the jet orifice in there. It's a little tiny hole. And I think I can see it coming through, but I'll give it a shot of air. That jet does not look to be aligned correctly at all. It's all sideways on in there. A 59 jet. Let's take it out and see. I'd say that jet's cross-threaded. Not that that would stop the pilot flame working. I think that's cross-threaded in the aluminium. Hard to say. Might not have been. It doesn't show any signs of it. They're awful parts. Right, let's put a shot of air in here and see what happens. Kind of running out of ideas. Put a little screw back in. It's a very short screw. There's no flame. I originally thought that tiny jet on the pilot flame was some kind of a control blocking it, but I don't think it is now. Get this fellow back in here. Okay, I'll put this pipe back on and tighten everything up. So if it doesn't work this time, I'm kind of out of ideas. Hey, look at that. Look at that. So, that's pretty sweet, eh? So this little blue flame here, with a bit of a red tinge off it coming from the igniter, that's what was missing. That's pretty sweet now. There's a bit of heat off that. Okay, I'll turn it off and get it all back together, and then we'll test all 3 bars. So, just after I turned off the video, I turned off this, and it's still putting out a flame, which is a bit peculiar. It should really be off, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Maybe you always have to turn these things off at the bottle. I don't know, because as long as the thermocouple down there is hot, it'll leave the gas open. but I thought this valve up here should turn it off. So let's just put it through again to, put it onto 2 if I can. There's 2. A second one should light up now. There's a second one over here. It's lighting. Let's give it a third. There it is, it's just flamed up on the third side. Third panel. So those bricks, you can see the middle brick is getting a bit pinker. That's it with the lights off. Quite a substantial flame licking out the top. You can't see it, but it is heating up that metal above. It's quite a decent flame. There's quite a lot of heat going up. So if I turn it back to 1 bar, to 2 bars first, let's try that. So that instantly that goes out. I'll turn it back to 1, instantly that one goes out. Turn it off, that one stays on. Isn't that peculiar? And I would need to read the instructions. So let's turn it off on the gas here. So that's it turned off at the bottle and it goes out. There's a little bit on the pilot flame and then it poops out. Right, I'll put it back together and I'll read the instructions because maybe that's not how you turn it off. So I'm just at the point of refitting this. I can't remember which way was up or down, so I've put this metal shield at the bottom. I guess at the end of the video I'll know, and if it's wrong I'll change it afterwards. Pop, pop, that's on. Let's have a look at the instructions on the back. So, operating instructions. Please read the instructions before connecting a gas bottle. Gas is turned on and off of the cylinder. Knob on top. Lighting it. Turn on the gas, turn on the cylinder valve. Make the flame symbol on. So those are just ways to turn it on. From white marking. So that's up on top from the white mark. Fully depress the control knob and turn to flame position, small flame. If pilot does not ignite, return to starting position and repeat. Continue to fully depress the knob further 10 seconds to let the thermocouple probe heat up, and then turn the knob to the required heat setting. Grand. Control the heat. Turn it to big, middle or large. Little, middle or large. Small even. Turning off the heater. The heater will only be totally off when the supply of gas from the cylinder has been turned off. After use, the appliance must be turned off at the valve. Turning the cylinder valve clockwise where a screwed connection is used, and those are the 2 ways to turn it off. So you have to turn it off at the bottle. Wait 5 minutes, I don't know why. Warning for switch on system. When the heat is alight, never turn the switch on the cylinder to the disconnect position. So this warning for switch on system. When the heat, I don't know what that means. That's a bit of bad English, poor English. When the heat is alight, never turn the switch on the cylinder to the disconnect position. I don't understand why. Wait until heater and pilot go out. Then and only then should the switch be turned to the disconnect position if the cylinder requires changing. That's the disconnect position where you have to, on some knobs you have to turn it the whole way around. So there's off, but then there's disconnect. So maybe, I don't know. It sounds from up here, turning off the heater, that you have to turn it off at the valve. Totally off. But it doesn't make sense, because it's like this fellow here should really turn it off if you're there. Radiant heater. Maximum 4.2 kilowatts, 2.85 and 1.5. Heat input. Well, that's 3 burners, that's what I have. 15 kilo cylinder. 28 bars. Purge the line. Maintenance. Free from dust. Covered and stored in a dust-free place. Do not tamper with safety devices, e.g. pilot burner, so we've broken the rules. Stain on the exterior should be removed with soapy solution when the heater is cold. Dry with polishing cloth. Do not use abrasive cleaners which will damage the paint finishes. The heater should be serviced by your local authorized dealer every 2 to 3 years depending on the usage. I don't think I've ever heard of one of these going back to a dealer to be serviced, but that's the way. Right, ventilation and appropriate sizing for the room. So there. Okay. Safety guard. So that's a fire guard on the front. So you can still get burnt from it, but yeah, okay, it's as if you're putting your hand into the flame, but not necessarily getting burnt from the heat of the fire guard. Right, well, I'm going to try it one more time. Oh, there's the details. It's an Delonghi RH42, 4.2 kilowatts, made in Italy for the GB market, or UK. Right, let's try it one more time. So I've refitted the cylinder and the gas is on at the valve. Might need to purge it, but let's see. No. So that's the pilot flame coming on straight away, and then it's lighting the main flame. We can release this a little bit to turn it to small. Okay, so if I turn it off, it should go off. Push it in, twist it back to off. Now, the red dot is at off up here. So I'll just leave it there for a while. I'll come back if it goes out. So I've left it on for about 5 minutes in the off position on top, and it's still on clearly. So maybe it is that you just always have to turn them off at the bottle. And that could be considered a safety feature, I guess, that if you have to turn them off in the bottle, then you know it's off at the bottle, at the valve, at the regulator, and that's a safer way to be, maybe. If you know that that's true, tell me about it in the comments. I've been around superstars. My grandparents have had them for as long as I can remember, and I've messed with them before. Ones that didn't, where the spark had died and all that. I used to have one like that in the shed that I was given, and they're great. They're portable and simple and expensive for gas, but equally for the portability they're quite cheap, or quite versatile maybe rather than cheap. So that's that. You'll have seen, depends on how I edit the video, but you'll have seen how long it took me. I've been out here for maybe an hour faffing around at this. I knew nothing about what was in there when I started, but I have a clear picture of what everything does now. I'm not sure what element of it cleaned out that little jet. Like, clearly it was the last thing I did that got the pilot flame going. But you saw how small the orifice was. A tiny, tiny piece of anything could block that. And the gas coming out at the regulated pressure wouldn't be able to clean it. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is that you can have a go at things. If you're worried about gas, just leave it alone. But I was watching a video about fridge motors, refurbishing fridge motors. I believe it was either somewhere in India, Pakistan, or in Africa. That's where I think it was, so I can't tell you where it was at all. But they were chopping open fridge motors. Now those things just go straight in a shredder over here to get the copper out. But these guys were chopping them open and replacing seals, reed valves inside the compressor. And why not? It's got to do with time and money. And when it comes down to it, I reckon when you're in a salaried job or in a wage job, your time has a certain value per hour. But only while you're getting paid. The rest of the time, you're not getting paid. So if you do a 40-hour week or a 50-hour week or a 20-hour week, if you're whatever way your pattern you're working, and you get paid per hour, you get paid when you're in your job. You don't make 50 quid or 8 quid an hour or 2 quid an hour when you're not at work. So you have no hourly rate for your free time, but people still, I used to have this logic as well. You have this logic that your free time has a value somewhat equivalent to your paid time. So you shouldn't do anything in your free time that isn't kind of covering the cost of your paid time. As it stands, for this example, say this took me an hour. Well, I've got a heater that was broken and just wouldn't work unless you left a little lump of steel on top as a weight. It just wouldn't work, but I fixed it. And in theory, I could sell this if I wanted to. I won't, because I really hate selling appliances. A repaired gas appliance, I'm not even going to go near selling that. But I've got mates who will take this off my hands for free, and they'll use it in their sheds. The reality is, I'll probably use it in my shed. I don't mind living with my own repairs. So, where does this leave us? Looks like, for this appliance at least, you have to turn it off at the bottle. Have a go. Try these things out. Tell me in the comments below if that turning it off at the bottle thing is correct, or if it should turn off on top. Because if it should turn off on top, then, you know, I won't be doubly cautious about it. I'll still know you have to turn it off in the bottle. And what I would tend to do with an appliance, if I'd forget how to use it, is I'll write on top with a pen. So I've washing machines and things like that in the past, where if you have a particular setting or something like that, just write on it with a pen saying turn off here, or use this setting, whatever the thing is. And that way, that's the question that you're typically asking yourself and forgetting each time. You've just written it on the machine. Oh, I have so much advice today. If you like this stuff, give us a like. If you would like to see more of it, subscribe please. And generally, thanks for watching. See you later.